In the upper right side of the map in the blue. He's looking really, really good tonight. It's Solar. Bottom left side of the map here in the red. Taking his own upset. It's Gumiho. Gumiho's TVZ, I think. I was gonna say I think it's his worst matchup, but I don't even think that's fair. He killed Cyril in Home Store Cup. Now, eventually Cyril won the entirety of Home Store Cup, and one can say that maybe it was just Cyril playing not as good. He wasn't ready. He wasn't at Valencia due to some personal issue, the undisclosed personal issue. And then he did storm through the bracket. And he broke the Turtle Terran in Maru in TSL. So maybe we can just say that Cyril was on an off day. But Gumiho did play well. And we saw him play some excellent late game TVZ, which is starting to get more. It feels like that late game Turtle Terran is starting to get maybe a little bit more figured out. Maybe just a little bit. Where in Valencia, I mean, Dark did it, but barely. And everyone was talking about it at Katowice, so Maru just got all in a ton and either won or lost off that. But it feels like recently we've just seen these Zergs just go kind of caveman Zerg. Just go full ape, mass, Lingbane, Hydra, Viper. Not going to Lurkers, not going to Ultras. Even stay away from Broodlord tech for the most part. And just have so much production that the Terran, even if they lose a little bit, they take these massively inferior trades. Lingbane Hydra comes crashing in over and over and over again on their 5th base. And it feels like the Terran, it really struggles to hold it. So for now, Reaper on the map is going to knock down the Ling and deny the scout there for Solar. As Gumiho, Reaper expand once again. 3rd base. I don't think we should be surprised to see a 3CC play on Tropical Sacrifice. It's such a big map, but it is a map where you can kind of struggle to get a 5th base, which of course can give the Terran maybe some pressure options, but also if we talk about that Turtle Terran style, that can be a little bit scary. Oh, he gets a drone. Oh, Gumiho, he found the positioning, but he will not get a second as Ling starts to chew away. So Reaper pops out. So the 3rd command center about halfway done. The thing I'm actually watching more than anything else is Gumiho's tech this game. Gumiho is one of those Terran players, one of those few. Well, actually, we can't even say that anymore because Maru does it. But Gumiho has always been one of these players that plays mech. In fact, when Gumiho came back from the military, suddenly everyone was playing mech. It's like, Gumiho reminded them that mech is possible and mech is maybe something that might be interesting to play. But for now, it's just going to be Hellion Banshee. Cloak on the way. There's see more Hellions arrive, and a good save there from Solar, but he spends about a drone to make that happen. You know, it's 17-ish minerals to cancel a spore. Okay, half a drone. Ooh. I think we're going to see a version of the build that Bjorn went for. Less Marines. Again, the build that Bjorn went for on, I want to say it was Waterfall against Solar in the Alpha X tournament I just cast. He went for this Marine, this Hellbat Marine, Hellion Banshee thing. It was actually the Waterfall game. Very, very weird. It didn't work out, but Bjorn ended up winning the game in the mid-game. Same idea here is going to be a lot of Hellions. You morph Hellbats, distract Solar, and then maybe your Banshees find value. And of course, behind this, Gumiho is going mech. So that shouldn't surprise really anyone. Hellions into the 3rd base here. And actually, I think he stays in Hellion form for a little bit, tries to chase down as many drones as possible, but as the Queens arrive, that's when the Hellbats will morph. Lings gets around on 1. They're actually going to get the Reaper. No, not quite. Force him back. And okay, they get 2 Hellions. Really, the Hellions don't get much done. A Viking looking to, well, actually there's a Spore there. It's going to get some damage, but it's going to look to try to get as much damage. It's really 2 shots workers, so there's that. Banshee of the natural, same deal. No Spores here, and Lair is only a little bit done. So Banshee is going to be a lot of damage, and Gumiho is trying to swarm this game out. Attack in 3 positions at once. Force his opponent to take losses somewhere just because it isn't uncomfortable, but these Hellbats will not find the value. Six workers have died. Lings, though, on the counterattack. They're going to find a bunch of Hellions. Looking at, oh, they're going to get this around, though, but even still, it's 3 Hellions here, and they're going to run backwards. So Lings do not find what they're looking for. 9 workers have died. Technically, you could have gotten 10. These Hellbats, they continue to waddle, but this is a great opening from Gumiho into this game. I have to point out, though, on the, what was it, the Moondance game? Solar took 31 drones. Oh, no, Cosmic Sapphire, excuse me. Solar took 31 drones worth of damage to a BC and 4 and 8 Hellions. Beyond then took the game late, and Solar just killed him. So now Hellions run forward, and with a cycle here, I mean, the Queen is not going to die, but it will take some heavy damage and force things back. As Gumiho, it looks like for now he's going battle. He's actually building more Banshees, which is interesting. Normally you commit to him or you don't. And if you do commit to him, you'll get Hyperflight. But that is not going to be the case this game. Lynx find their way into the 3rd base, but there's enough Hellion Banshee on the bottom side. That should be fine. Hellions and, well, a Cyclone on the left side should maybe, they're not going to get all that much. So for now, into this game. Slings now. Oh, they're going to run forward, but again, with the Banshee and the Cyclones here in the repair, they might get one. No, they're going to get a Cyclone. Okay, that's nice. They're going to get the second one as well. SCVs are going to have to be pulled away. Solar finding a lot of value here, and, well, I mean, Cyclones can lock on to Lings, but really, that's 1 link per 1 lock on. Not really what you're wanting, but Banshee's on the other side. They're going to get a Queen dive on top of that one. Yeah, Queen is dead. Not much more worker damage. And Solar on, of course, 4 bases. These Banshees, though. There are. The Queens need to rotate over. Spore, actually, it's a little bit in range, so a bit awkward. Hellions. Actually, the Blue Flame Hellbats are going to show up at the 4th base, but Mutas are here, so, well, Hellbats will die. And Lings are going to get this round as well, so this is going to be a lot of Hellions hitting the deck. Solar, his supply is not massive, but it's decent. And actually, the big deal is there are only 3 Cyclones on the map. Normally, Mutas are interesting, a little bit dicey against Battle Mech because 1 lock-on is 1 dead Muta. So when you get that significant Cyclone count, it's a problem. But as the Cyclones are pushed back into a corner here, they're just all going down. And not many Mutas have died, so now Muta's free range over a Mineral Line. Solar took damage. Gumiho lost the game. We're going to game 2. Bottom right side of the map here in the blue, he's up 1. I don't think he's lost a map here in EPT Korea 140. He is for Onsyde, Solar. In the upper left side of the map in the red. Down 1, Gumiho. Let's see. Solar 3-2'd beyond with some massive comebacks of like 31 workers lost or more. Not in EBT, of course, in the tournament I was casting right before this. Which is, of course, if you want to see the VOD, it's on the Alpha X channel. Unless you're watching this VOD on the Alpha X channel, then it's on the channel you're on. And then Solar, he 2-0's Hero, who does not lose PvZ series. Granted, Hero, his builds were kind of weird, and I think he's experimenting with some things. And now he's up here 1-0 on Gumiho and 1-0 on Gumiho. And yes, I think Gumiho, his TVZ is probably his weakest matchup, despite the fact that he beat Cyril at Home Story Cup. But even still. Solar looking that good and coming back from what was a decent deficit. You know, he lost 10, 12 workers from the harass, and it's a little bit awkward, but Mutas ran across the map. They killed Cyclones, and enough Cyclones had died previously from run-bys that there was just never going to be enough anti-air for Gumiho anymore, and he had to tap out. Funny how that works sometimes. So what does Gumiho do in game 2? Game 1 was a weird build. I mean, maybe it's not weird. We saw Beyond do something similar recently in the Alpha X series, I guess. So maybe that's just something that Korean Terrans are doing more. This kind of middle of the road Hellbat Banshee, but not really all in. It's got a third base type of build. I don't know. It hasn't looked all that good from what I've seen. But maybe it just needs some refining. I don't know. Or maybe you just need to not do it against Solar because Solar's TVC is that good. Or Solar's ZVT is that good. As Marines will show up on the map here because this was a reactor first from Gumiho. Now, not a Reaper or not a 2-1-1 out of that, as we saw Byun do. As I just noticed that there's a face right here. It's like a great big bear. See it? There's the mouth or the two eyes. We do have Marines on the map scouting out for an Overlord, but Solar, he's well aware of the fact that Marines are on the map, so he's just going to put his Overlords on high ground positions. Yeah, I guess this tile set just kind of looks like a stylized bear to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I've been casting StarCraft for too many hours tonight. But 6 Marines now, they're going to show up on the third base of Solar. What does he have? Again, he's gone for the delayed clash opener, or the modified clash that he seems to be favoring in this matchup in general. It allows him to be a little bit greedier. And with with Hellions, they're going to try to dive in the natural, but Queen's getting good damage done on that one. I think does this third base die? I mean, Solar's got a little bit of time to deal with it. Good pull there on the drone, or on the drones. Base is halfway done. Queen on the way. There is actually no transfuse on these Queens. It's close. 10 energy off. And looks like Byun does not want to take the fight. He says, I got damage done. Maybe that was enough, but Ling's now flooding onto the other side of the map because there's no wall here. There's no wall whatsoever. And well, for now, Solar's just looking for the Marines, I guess. As the Hellions are scouting out just a little bit more. Ling's, they're going to get damage on one, and there they go. They find the Marines, but I think there are enough Hellions nearby that this is not going to be the trade, the cost-effective trade that Solar was looking for. So one Ling runs forward, it finds its way into the main base, and gets a full scan of the main base because, well, Gun was repositioning things. So sees everything, sees the barracks, sees the stim on the barracks, and says, okay, well, it's not mech. So now Overlord looks to scout in and says, oh, well, third base on position, but doesn't get much more than that. As well, there are plenty of Marines there from earlier. Hellions look to dive in, but Solar on top of things. Queen positioning, fantastic. As we have a Banshee on the way, but of course this Banshee does not have cloaks. The Queen will be able to deal with this as it gets in range. Ling is on the map once again. Solar has been so good with his counterattack pressure. Really, he says he could have denied that base. Send Lings to keep the Hellions out and send 4 Lings to kill the SCV, but he judges it's just a little bit too close and probably not worth the value gained. So third base now down for Gumiho on location for no fourth base for Solar just yet. He's running up pretty hard, but his running is somewhat slow because of the pressure that Gumiho put on earlier with those Marines on the third base, the Hellions diving around, the Banshee. So now Solar's got his fourth base on the way. Now his drone count is starting to get something a little bit more respectable. And with Bailey speed on the way, that's going to time up pretty nicely with the 1-1 of Gumiho, which is when he's going to look to push. So this game slows down just a little bit. Gumiho's got his third base. He wants to secure that properly. Wants to get his upgrade. Solar, same, fourth base. Establish the creep into the middle of the map. And Moondance, as big of a map as it is laterally, and diagonally, it's absolutely massive. It's got, what, 8 bases aside? Something like that. Actually, it might even have 9. through the middle of the map, it's 31 seconds as the worker goes. It is super short. So Gumiho, if he starts finding momentum, it's going to be very hard for Solo to fight back in this, even as wide open as the middle of the map is. It's one that when the Terran starts to wedge themselves up against this position, that life becomes incredibly difficult for the Zerg, or kind of in through here, but this is not nearly as pushable unless you go true north side. So Gumiho now through the right side of the map. Creep is respectable for Solar right now, as he's got to be careful. One queen getting low. Tanks there are going to get dropped to top of the queens. That's a bit awkward because the Lynx can get on top of them immediately. Good tank shot, though, on the Banes. They still run into the back line. Actually, Gumiho says, you know what, that's fine. Or Solar says, that's fine. I don't really need to commit too far forward. I want to keep these Banelings alive. I need my next round of Lings. 1-1 is, of course, done for Gumiho. That's what he's trying to take advantage of here as the bio stims forward. A couple drones will fall. But the Queen's now good damage on the medevacs, denying a lot of the reinforcement or the stability of this army. Now, Banelings caught the back line just a little bit. I feel like Gumiho, okay, there come the Banelings that have been morphing in earlier. Tanks sieged up once again. Ling's trying to get on top of them. Queens as well. Banelings, they stay alive, and Gumiho now stimming into the fourth base here. There is not enough anymore. In fact, Gumiho seems like he has the base down. In fact, he's going to try to get more. Drones will fall. Solar falls. The razor blade timing from Gumiho knocks Solar down, and folks, we have a series. It's tied up 1-1. The bottom left side of the map here in the blue. Took game 1, fell in game 2. It's Solar. The upper right side of the map in the red. He looked much better in that second game. He's Gumiho. That was an impressive timing from Gumiho. Solar normally holds those, but the pressure from Gumiho with the 6-8 Marines that delayed the fourth base, that delayed droning, meant Solar drone later, it meant that push was just good enough. That means that this series, as I was kind of worried with how good Solar has looked against Hero, with how good he looked against Byun in the other cup I did right before this, with how good he looked against Gumiho in game 1, I was worried this was going to be a 3-0. But it's not. Tied up at 1 apiece, and Data C is a big map. It is a map that gives you somewhat free expand patterns. As the Terran. So this is the one we will most often see them go and we'll see him most often go try to turtle out. And Gumiho has embraced the turtle style. We saw him beat Serral on Stargazers during Homestar Cup. Of course, Stargazers is by far the best. Moondance and Stargazers are kind of equal in how good they are for that. Honestly, Stargazers might even be a bit better, just because of how few bases there are. So the Terran can camp really easily, and the Zerg has at max 6 bases. Right? 5 bases, really, and then the 6th is the gold. Yeah. So it is a problem. It is really hard for the Zerg to play against. We've seen some great late games, actually, on that map, and we've seen Zergs win, but anyway. But for now, Reaper on the other side of the map. And actually, Queen may get... Oh, okay, no. False alarm, folks. Sorry. I lied to you. I lied to you all. Reaper got very low, though, but which will, of course, allow a good creep spread from Solo to get set up. Normally, it's like, okay, the Reaper gets 50% HP, and it's probably going to dive in and kill your creep tumor. You get it lower than that, you will be able to get that right on the edge of creep, which is what you want. It means you connect the creep to the 3rd base quicker. It means you start spreading creep away to the 4th base in general. The quicker you get, the better you can get creep spread started early, the better your just entire game will be as a Zerg. So for now, it kind of looks like, well, it's Hellions something with a medevac on the way, though. We may see some more of that Hellbat pressure. It didn't get a lot done from Gumiho in the first game. And there we go. Okay, Armory is on the way. It didn't get a lot done for Gumiho in the first game of the series, but this is a much quicker Hellbat timing. That previous one, the one that we actually saw Byun do to Solar in the other series I cast, that one was an Armory dropping at 415. This was at 330, 320. Hellbats are going to arrive much quicker in this game. So we're going to have to see if Solar is ready. Now, he's on 4 queens. We're going to have to see eventually him go up to 6. But this is a pretty aggressive opening. And the 4 additional Marines in this setup provide a surprisingly high amount of extra DPS in the game. But Solar seems to be aware of, well, at least some idea of what's happening. And actually, I think it's because he's got that, yeah, he's got the Overlord looking to scout in. Did it see the armory? No, it didn't. But even still, Marines in at 1 Hellbat. Oh, this is actually so cool. The 1 Hellbat here, it prevents so much Ling damage, but, well, the Hellbat stays alive. Medevac will fall, though, and eventually this army gets dropped. In the natural, though, maybe there's going to be a little bit more Hellions trying to dive in. Drones are trying to split as well as they can. Oh, no, the barbecue, but he doesn't target properly. 7 workers go down, but that's going to be the extent of it. I thought that was just... All the drones were pulled into that. If Gumiho had shot up the ramp instead of down the ramp, that's probably 15 workers dead. And now the Lings, though, they're going to find the Hellions in the middle of the map here. 7 workers going down is not great. But, I mean, that could have been so much worse. Now Ling's knocking down the rest of this. Second Raven on the way now. I thought this was just a special. I feel like we're seeing a big meta evolution in... I feel like we're seeing a pretty significant meta evolution in TVZ, at least from the series that I've cast. Now, Beyond and Gumiho don't always go and... They don't always go in and set the meta. But I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm seeing these weird Hellbat timings. And or more importantly, this Raven stuff. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But of course, Gumiho, being Gumiho, and this being Data C, has opted for mech here in this game number 3, hoping that the damage that he got done with the Hellions and the drops and everything, technically Hellbat play, but not really, not as we traditionally think about it. He says, look, I think I've gotten enough. I think I can keep the Zerg back from growing to the point where they can just smash me right on through. And the Ravens add to that. It means the creep spread will not spread across the map quite as strongly. Another Raven now on the right side, but, well, auto turrets are... Solar's on top of that one. So I like the way that Solar is playing this, or that Gumiho is playing this double Raven style a little bit more than I like the way Special played it. Where Special, his Ravens were just harass, that was it. This one is 1 Raven with the army to deny creep and 1 Raven for harass. Because the second Raven didn't really add a lot of harass potential. I mean, technically it doubles, but it's not quite like that. Whereas, yeah, the Raven with the army, and then you have the ability to, you have a lot more fighting force maybe, but also you just have this ability to knock down a lot of crew spread. Which is the Zerg is going to try to dominate the map, try to expand pretty quickly against this mech play. Can be pretty nice. Look at this, though. It's single armory. Multiple Thors getting added in with double Thor drops. Okay. You'll love to see it. This is... No, the days of the Medank are gone. But this is pretty dank. Roche Warren only about halfway done. Bailey's morphing in here. If you knock down the Hellions and the Hellbats, these Thors are going to be dead. But you need more. So Thor's on the high ground here. Technically, it's a 3-base play from Gumiho, but really it feels like a 2.5 base all in. As now the Ravens drop auto turrets. Bailey's come crashing forward, trying to get on top of the Hellbats. They're going to get a couple. Lings surrounding on the right side. More auto turrets getting dropped, and this base is dead. Solar has to evacuate it. But the Thors, they do so much damage to buildings, to armored units, that's not really going to work well. Bailey's actually rolling in. Actually seems like Solar says he thinks he can make this happen, but the Hellbats on the backside with a pickup as well. Thor's still fighting strong. More auto turrets. Actually, they're not even going to get dropped. Gumiho does not need them. The rally continues forward. More Hellbats, more Thors, 4 Thors! And 7 queens ago, our mech fathers brought forth a new style. And in this case, it will be a winning style, I think. Roaches now joining the fray, though, and that Thors are not nearly as good against Roaches as they are against the rest of this. So maybe the Roach tech is going to be enough to keep Gumiho back for the moment. But these Thors have found so much value. The 4th base is the base is not dead. Much as the Hellbats morph in. I think the Thors, well, okay, they're going to drop on the high ground. Look at, oh, Overlords. Okay. There is vision here, but the big deal is that they're denying the concave. The Roaches cannot fight quite as well against this. So Thor is moving around. They didn't end the game as that drop is That does a little bit of damage to a medevac, but there's just not a lot of anti-air. And the Thor's could kill the Roach Horn. There we go. Roach Horn's dead, so you're not really afraid of roaches as much anymore. And now Thor's on the high ground once again. This is in part why Zergs do not like to take the triangular base. Drop high ground, drop low ground, and it's so hard for the Zerg to defend. But Solar never would have imagined that he was having to defend Thor drops against the mech player. Or in general, this heavy drop play against the mech player. So, I mean, you're going to get that core 4 anyways on Data C, but these Thors have done so much here. And now more and more factors on the way. Gumiho in a very comfortable spot in this game, but as we've seen, just because Gumiho is comfortable in a spot or just because Solar is down does not mean that he is out. He has found such good comebacks already, but a queen will be assassinated. How many kills do these Thors have? 18, 21 kills on the Thors. And a lot of those are expensive units. They're Ravagers, they're Queens, they're Roaches, they're not Lings. Solar appears to have stabilized just a little bit. +2 attack done now for the mech player. But no second armor, I don't think. Yeah, only the one. As this game does go late, Gumiho will want that upgrade. Ooh, Solar, he's going Stormhost. You know what? I don't really hate this. With the heavy Thor focus, what is the composition right now? It's 4 tanks, it's 11 Hellions, but I don't know that we don't have Blue Flame just yet. The Stormhost will maybe find value, but typically when you go that Stormhost style, you want to keep the Terran below about 150 supply. So the fact here that Gumiho is just about to max out, his +3 is on the way, Blue Flame just about done, it feels a little bit less good. Now we're going to see the Hellbats move in, the Locusts move in, and well, the Hellbats are not ready for this just yet. They don't have Blue Flame, but even still, Locusts are not getting all that much, but Banes and Lings and Roaches, they come crashing in from behind. These Thors, though, one of them will fall, but they're beefy boys. They're beefy as hell, and Roach drops on the back line. They're looking to get whatever they can, eat a couple Baneling shots, maybe assassinate, say something, maybe a Swarm Host. The anti-armor missile does not really unlock a position for Gumiho to fight in. Not really. So more and more Cyclones are on the way. Is Gumiho now on 4 bases? He's got a ton of minerals. Oh, you don't want to move there. Tank siege up, and that is a lot of dead Roach Ravager. And well, the Locusts are going to try to jump on top of things, but now these are Blue Flame Hellbats. The Locusts get almost nothing done. Banes and Lings and Roaches, they come rolling in once again, but Solar just does not find the value whatsoever. He gets the tank, he loses a whole hell of a lot more. Auto turrets on the other side, not really getting quite as much, but Gumiho remaxes and Solar can't. I mean, he will eventually, but Gumiho does it instantaneously, which is not what we expect out of the setup. And now Gumiho on the bottom side, he says, I can put my own pressure on. I would love even just dropping some mules to repair those Thors. The Thor drop the main base. And the consistent Thor pressure in the main. Oh, it makes me so happy. It's so weird. As Stormhost dead, but they're going to release their charges, so the Locust will force this army back just a little bit. Not maybe. Oh wait, no, those Locusts are not going forward. That's a mistake. This opens up a big timing here for Gumiho. The Locust did not find any value, and now there's 45 seconds where this army is pretty much uncontested. Bailey's look to roll on in. Locust timeout. Now he can just turn around, drops the scans. Army's going down. The tank flank, well, it's not even going to be needed. These Thor drops in the high ground. One looks like it went down, and okay, medevac getting very low. So this should be the end of the Thor drop, but 27 kills on it. More than enough. Gumiho pushing in on the right side here. We do not have Locusts even still. Cyclones and Hellbats tanking for everything here. Now the Hellbats arrive, and maybe this is going to be enough because there are not a lot of Hellbats here. Not anymore, but they force all the Locusts to go on the Hellbats and not the tanks. So shots continue to go off. Cyclones as well. Armor Shredder missiles, and we even just have some Liberators showing up, and it looks like the army of Gumiho will be rebuffed. The base, I think, they should stay alive if the Hellbats are dealt with, and it looks like they will be. So bit of an awkward engage there from Gumiho. Normally, I'm not a fan of mech play because it's just not all that interactive. This game, though, has been extremely interactive. It's such a cool game from Gumiho, and really just razor's edge holds from Solar time and time again. Now we're truly in a battle mech, which fights very well against the Roach Ravagerling Bane style that Solar has gone for. Now, it doesn't fight against the Swarm Host quite as well, but that's why you morph him to Hellbats. And we do have Transformation Service from Gumiho in this game, pushing into the right side. Hellbats will morph forward, and I think this, yeah, Cyclones lock this down. This is a dead base. A couple Locusts will land, of course, but that's fine. Liberator will die as well. Gumiho, oh yeah, at this point, it's going to be multiple dead bases here for Gumiho. He needs to lock onto the base, but it does not really matter. He's just going to say, I'm going to get a little bit extra damage. I'm going to knock down maybe some Overlords. Big deal, though, or at least the saving grace for Solar at this point is he finds himself supply blocked down 2 bases. He's still on 74 workers. He did not lose his drone count from that pressure, and now we have a Nidus popping up here on this position between the Terran's 4th base and his 5th. But SCVs are going to scout this. So Gumiho should be able to handle this for the most part. Cyclone lock on, and hide backwards. The Banelings, they're gonna get some decent connections. And of course, the Banelings you're looking for the connections on the Hellions. Somos though will arrive. Cyclones lock on the Nidus, but really does not do it all that much. As the army of Gumiho now has to kite backwards, pretty heavily here. He's gonna maybe have to give up the planetary position, but there's actually not enough of this army from Solar to be able to really fight that position. These Cyclones fighting forwards and backwards. We're gonna see Nidus pop up, but that's just to allow maybe Solar to take this position, but he's not gonna be able to do so. That Nidus, Gumiho may kill it, he may not. It does not even matter. It's gonna go down. Now Gumiho, he's got the tempo lead here. The Vipers, they're just gonna go down. The most important component of this army, it's now dead. And Liberator's finding a little bit more. Maybe, I think it got a queen or two, and there's gonna be another queen go down. Liberator's sieging up these queens as well. Raven runs forward, but the queens target that one down at the very least. But I feel like Gumiho has broken through here. He has such a big bank, Solar does not. More and more roaches are on the way, but it's funny. We have Gumiho, he committed to +3 attack on his mech, but no armor. But Cyclones, they don't care about the attack, they only care about the armor, so, yeah. But Solar, he falls. Gumiho, 2-1. And the upper right side of the map here in the blue, folks. He's down 1. It's Solar. And the bottom left in the red. 2-1. Looking really surprisingly good. It's Gumiho. Do we see mech again? Waterfall is, of course, a much smaller map. It's actually, well, it is shorter than Data C, but not by all that much. It's 33 second rush distance. Talking is hard. I wonder if this is something of a scenario that we see occasionally, right? Where I was talking about this with the special series, where Gumiho plays so differently that while Solar's ZVT is dazzling, but it's against players like Maru and players like Byun that play. Well, I guess Maru still has these turtle ideas, but in general, you know, it's bio for the most part. I mean, even if it is mech, it's not Gumiho style mech. So, I mean, part of the benefit of Gumiho playing like Gumiho is if no one else plays like Gumiho, it can be pretty strong. But for now, we're not seeing anything super interesting. The factory positioning is a bit odd. But Solar, he's running an Overlord into the main base actually really early. Normally, if you're trying to scout the main, you do it at 4:15. But Solar will scout. Okay, factory, second gas. So he's going to have a good idea of what Gumiho is going for in this game. And this was a reactor expand, by the way. We don't see the reactor or this was a Reaper expand. Excuse me. We're not seeing the reactor first that we saw in the previous. Was it? No, 2 games ago. Or what? Actually, Maru, or what Byun did on Waterfall in the Alpha X Cup. So Reaper into the high ground, but there's a queen here, so I mean, do we even need to talk about it? The other thing we have to point out is Solar's his speed is much quicker in this game. It's gonna be done around, actually, what is? Yeah, it's gonna be done around 3:30. So he did not go for the modified clash like he's been doing a lot, and we have seen Beyond and Gumiho both punish him for it just a little bit. Don't know how much he's actually going to get punished for it. I mean, he's not going to get punished for it in this game, but it is good to see him, certainly when his back's against the wall. He's adapting a little bit. He's playing a little bit safer. Not quite as greedy, and that actually, removing greed when your opponent is playing, well, pretty standard. I think we're going to see a third CC coming out of Gumiho pretty soon. I mean, it's Hellion Banshee. Well, as I say that, I lied. I lied tremendously because there's a tank on the way. And this is going to be, well, it's going to be a 1-1-1 2-base island coming out of Gumiho at this point with Banshees, with tanks, with Marines. It's not going to be a lot of mid to late game tech, but it is going to be a tremendously powerful composition if Gumiho can set himself up right. He's going to look to try to wedge his way in between the natural and the third base, have Marines on one side, tanks shelling away on the other, and with the Banshees on top, well, you can have spores in a mineral line, but getting that spore forward is going to be hard. Solar seems to have some idea that something's up. He saw the factory position. He's like, okay, this is kind of weird. So he is adding a Baneling Nest. He's playing that defensive style, but already the army of Gumiho is on the map. Baneling Nest is 2/3 of the way done, and we're going to have to see just how much damage Gumiho can get. At this point, the Banshee gets not a lot. In fact, spending energy, well, I don't know how valuable that is going to be, but damage on the Queens is actually really, really nice here. And look at this. There's a bunker defending the tank. I forgot who was talking about earlier, but someone was talking about how they wished bunkers on tank pushes were a thing. Well, we see that right now. And that is such a next level play from Gumiho at this point. It means the Marine surround is not going to get all that much, and Solar supply blocked. Reaper on the high ground provided a little bit of vision. Tanks shelling away these queens. One of them goes down. A second one goes down. Only 5 queens remain at this point, and now we're going to have to see this 4 go forward. But that's in tank range. So Banshees, of course, they have to be careful. Reaper's dead as well. But the Banshees, their job is in part is to provide high ground vision. Now, it looks like this tank is going to go down. Actually, the Banshees, they get miscontrolled a little bit. They run into a spore, so tank is dead. Well, bunker's still alive, but one Banshee's dead as well. This push does not really seem, it had promise at first, but it does not really seem to be working out for Gumiho at this point. Meanwhile, Solar, on the other side of the map, was looking for a run by, but the wall is up, so it's not going to get fined that much. And now we're going to start to see some workers go down. Gumiho behind this third command center on the way. Additional barracks. He's going bio. This push did not get nearly what it was looking for. I mean, it got a couple queens. 2 queens, a couple lings. I guess he didn't lose a lot, and he can really run the Marines back home for the most part. That bunker is making it pretty hard for the lings to engage, actually. So maybe from that perspective, it's okay, but Stim is so far a ways off that the Stim will be, Mutas will be out before Stim is started, or at least before Stim is done. That is insane. But Gumiho may actually not even just get Stim in this game. He's not setting up for it. He's just moving for this push once again. A tank will show up. Queens are going to run forward trying to deal with that, but as long as there's high ground vision, the Queens can't really take the fight. I don't know how many more scans we have, though. And another Queen will get or another tank will get targeted down. This just does not seem to be working for Gumiho. He's got his +1 on the way, but he doesn't have he doesn't have a tech alive for Stim. And as these mutas arrive, lings surrounding from both sides, the Marines are all going to go down. Maybe some target fire on the Banes, but still, it's just going to get wiped out. These mutas popping, I think they just killed Gumiho. I think we're going to have a rematch of, or a rehash of Tropical Sacrifice, where Gumiho does something weird, he does something interesting, and mutas pop up across the map and said, ha, you don't have any anti-air, or at least not good enough anti-air. There are 9 Marines on the map, and that is really it. No missile turrets even. And now as the mutas arrive, we're gonna have to see just this is gonna get a lot of damage. No, it's gonna get game-ending damage. Gumiho understands he cannot hold on to that. We're going to game 5. Bottom left side of the map here in the blue. You got 2 maps because it's game 5 for Onsyde. It's Solar. And the upper right side of the map in the red. It's Gumiho. Gumiho has hit us with 4 interesting builds over the course of the series. Some have worked, some have not. I'm wondering if at game 5 he approaches any level of standard play. I don't think so. Just considering how he's been playing this series, I think he's going to put his own twist on the meta, and it's either going to work or it's not. You know, it's an advantage that he has because, well, he's the only one that plays like this. But also on the flip side, the meta is the meta for a reason. It's probably the most optimal way to play the game, or at least the most optimized way that players have figured out how to play the game. But for now, it's going to be a Marine expand into a reactor. So this gives us room into Hellbat play, into 2-1-1. Into, well, how about place, maybe some other stuff. So for now, Marines are on the map, just looking for that Overlord, but Solar's not going to do it. He understands that is what his opponent has been looking for, and Terrans are doing this a lot more often to hunt the Overlord, and high ground will be fine for Solar. And of course, we won't really see what Gumiho wants to go for the next minute or so. 1-1-1 as an opening really doesn't tell us a whole hell of a lot. I mean, it was a 1-1-1 that last game with the tank push and everything. But, I mean, that doesn't really mean much of anything. It looks like this is going to be Hellion Banshee popping as we see the tech lab. Well, as I say that, there's medevac on the way. And with these 6 Marines, what is going to be made... Oh, wait, wasn't this... Yeah, so we saw Gumiho do this in... What was it? Game 1, I think? Okay, no, never mind. I was thinking that, well, I think there was a build that was a Marine drop into Ravens. But no, it's just 2 additional barracks are on the way. Stim as well. But Gumiho, well, he's getting his production on the way before his 3rd base. So he's going to put some pressure on, but he does have his 3rd command center on the way as well. So if I talked about, are we going to see any level of standard play? Well, this seems to be the most standard we're going to get. Yeah, it's an early Marine drop, but he's getting stim at a decent time. He's getting his additional barracks. He's going bio, and he has got a 3rd base at a pretty reasonable time for a 3cc play. So, well, we're going to have to see what exactly he opts to go for. We saw him... The other game that he played that was somewhat standard was on Moondance, and he snapped Solar's neck with a really crisp timing. Right with the 1-1 off of some weird Marine pressure. I guess that we can't even say that wasn't weird because he had the 6 Marines shelling away at the 3rd base a little bit. But Solar is doing something different. In this 5th and final game, he has roaches on the mind, and I guess, I mean, this does make sense. On Inside now, it's a pretty wide open 3rd base if you can punch your way through the rocks. And roaches, well, they're going to kill the rocks pretty easily. So Solar is most likely... We don't see any eBay. We don't see any Evo chambers just yet. I think the play here is just gonna, you know, max out 170, 180 supply, 1-1 on the roaches, and punch right on through at the third base. But Gumiho has interesting ideas as well. Yes, he's got his third base on location. Yes, Stim is finishing up, but he's got Armory just about done as well. He's got 5 Hellions, more on the way. So it's going to be a Stim to Marine Hellbat timing. Roaches are on the way to defend this, though. So it seems like for now, Solar has the proper read on what he needs. 7 roaches are on the way. How many do we have on the map? We actually don't. So Solar's going to need to kite out for the moment. Lings are going to find the third base. A couple dead SCVs. Not really all that consequential, but it does deny mining. Forces the third base really to lift. And here come the Marines. Here come the Hellbats, but there's nothing to deny on the right side. Solar is on 3 bases. He understands that the state of this game. He just kind of needs to hold. He doesn't want to kill a creep tumor though. And this push looks like for the most part, it will be knocked aside. I like the Hellbat drops though. It's not going to get much of anything with the roaches here, and roach speed just about done. But well, it's something, right? Gumiho's still putting pressure on the map as he got this army in the middle of things. But it feels like Solar, this army that Gumiho is making is just, well, he doesn't have upgrades, right? His eBay is only halfway done, so this 1-1 roach timing, he's not even going to be a 1-1 roach timing because Hydra Den is on the way. He's just moving to quick lurkers. But if this was a 1-1 roach timing, I think it would just bowl Gumiho right over. We have 1 tank on the map. They're going to be maybe 3 by the time that Solar maxes out. And I wouldn't mind seeing Solar do that anyways. Yeah, he's got Hive. Yeah, he's got everything else. But just go punish this. I mean, the 1-1 roach time, like, he's going to have so much. And the bio of Gumiho, I don't know that it's going to be able to... that's a missed bio. I don't know that that army of Gumiho is going to be able to deal with what Solar has. Group threat continues to push on forward as Solar secures his 4 bases on the map. 1-1 just about done. Roach count, not incredible though. 162 supply. It's decent, but it's only up about 10 supply on the Terran player because, again, Solar, he has... okay, he accidentally clicked the Swarmhost for a second, but he canceled it in time. We have Hive just about done. Lurker Den halfway done. This is a game where Solar's just trying to get into a really powerful lurker timing before anything else. So for now, roaches are on the map. He's up about 10 army supply. Hellbat drops into this third base, and well, Solar's not really pulling away, so he's going to lose a couple workers, but Queen's just targeted down pretty easily. With that 1-1, they actually kill the Hellbats pretty decently, and there we go. That's the dead medevac as well. So Gumiho is pressured, not fighting all that much. These roaches, though, they do have to run away. Even with the superior upgrades, there's just not enough of them here. The rest of the army of Solar is going to really swing right, not get much done. Vipers, though. Vipers and Lurkers together, I think, is going to be this timing that Solar is looking for. Although, there we go. Seismic Spines is on the way. So Lurkers joining up. Gumiho seems to be committed to this, the idea that this is going somewhat late. He's adding 2 additional command centers, but I don't know that he's going to be able to hold on to them as the Roaches, the Ravagers, they run forward. There we go. Double cancel on that. Suddenly, Gumiho's got a bank, but that's just because he cannot build the infrastructure that he would like. It's on the left side of the map, though. Gumiho. He will be able to deny the 5th base of Solar, so at least he's got that one going for him. Roach on the right side will be able to deal with this, and the 4th base is not going to be allowed to get up here by Solar super easily. In fact, he's going to kill the army on the left side as well. At least get some amount of it. We are starting to see the weakness of this style. Lurkers now, they're going to burrow, and yeah, you scan, but doesn't really matter. These are Lurkers that have seismic spines. You have 1-1 Gumiho. You cannot take this fight, but he's going to, especially the scan's gone. Yeah, 4th base not allowed to survive. Solar up pretty significantly in supply. The drop in the main base looks like the Spore knocked the medevacs down, and the bio is now dead. Lurker's looking to run away. Burrow up once again. There's a second scan getting dropped. The micro here from Gumiho was actually really nice. to dodge as many of these spines as possible, but here comes the rest of the army from Solar. And you can take the fight when their lurkers are unsupported. You cannot take the fight when the lurkers are properly supported. By the way, look at the upgrades we got in this setup. We got lurker burrow speed, we got hydro range, we got Bailey speed, we got adrenal glands, we got overlord speed, we got 2-1-2, triple eBay on the way. Solar has pretty much everything he possibly wants. Now the lurkers are going to run forward. Adept Talon is not quite done, so they burrow up a little bit slow. Link's trying to get on top of the tank line. They will be successful in doing so, it looks like. At least some of them. Roaches as well. Gumiho, this defensive position looks like it will be broken. If not in this wave, then the next. And actually, it will be this wave. Gumiho taps out. And the end of things. This does not work. Solar, 3-2. What a series, though.